All right. Welcome everyone to the Frequency Soul Collective. Bec McQuilty here. It is a public holiday today, so I think a lot of people have gone away and all of the things, but we thought we would jump on and do this call for you, particularly for those who are really keen to look at doing the incentive trip between the 2024-2025 period. And I know that there'll be lots of people watching the replay. So we thought that we would record this for you all to be able to watch back. So we are going to be talking tonight about what the trip is, what the qualifications are required, and then how to get there. These incentive trips really are phenomenal. I've been with a couple of companies over a long period of time. My first company that I joined, I actually won an incentive trip to, oh gosh, where was it now? I can't even remember now, but anyway, wherever it was. And to be honest, I actually didn't take it. It was a $10,000 trip that I won. There was a whole team of us that won it together. And I was the only one who didn't go. And I didn't go because back then I suffered from really severe anxiety and I gave up a $10,000 trip. There was no payout. It was either you went or you didn't go. And I actually gave it away. So it was that back then that made me realize that my mental health was really important to get under control. And since then, I've been able to do all the trips, whether they're on my own or with family members or whatever the case may be. So that first trip I obviously missed and never went to. But my next company from there, I did from memory, gosh, 3 or 4 incentive trips. And they're always just so amazing. And Solex have only had 2. This will be the 3rd incentive trip. Our first one was to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. The second one was the one that we've just come back from to the Mexican Riviera. And this one is the Caribbean cruise, which is really, really exciting. I have cruised the Caribbean before. It is absolutely magnificent. And a lot of the places that we'll be going to on this particular cruise, and I say we like I've qualified, I am probably the furthest from any person that I know to qualify, but that's okay. I'll get there. There are some amazing places that we're going, so I can't wait to share those with you as well. So I wanted to share some photos from our trip that we just did. This trip was just absolutely phenomenal. And what made it even better was the fact that I was able to go with some of our team members from here from Australia. So both Emma and Marielle qualified, which was so awesome. And it was so good to be able to travel over there with them and spend time with them, but also just watch them have fun, and enjoy the rewards of their hard work. So this is just some photos of some of us on the trip. Some of us did a really beautiful kayaking experience in Cabo. We had beautiful dinners every night. And it was a great opportunity to meet other people and catch up with other people from all around the world. We were able to meet Leanne. Actually, I'll go back one and I'll show you. This is her here, Blondie. She is just a really beautiful person and she's from Norway and she's got young children, a really young family, and she left her whole family to come and enjoy this cruise with us. And she was actually, there was my room, there was Jessica Zavaias, then myself, then Emma, and then Leanne's room. So we were all sort of side by side, the 4 of us, which was really nice. So it was really great just to get to know people from kind of all over the world. And we had some formal nights and had the opportunity to dress up and discover all different places. So that was really cool. Do you want to share a little bit about your experience and what you loved about the trip?
Hey, yeah, it was amazing. So LA is definitely not my favorite place, but it was an awesome experience. And Santa Monica was very cool where we went to. We did a little bit of a drive around, but just to get there, and it's my first cruise, my first incentive trip I've ever won with any company. And I've only been with Solex for a couple of years, so it is definitely doable when you put your mind to it. But yeah, Cabo and was definitely my favorite spot in Mexico. But just the whole cruise was incredible. I could just look out at that view like 24/7. So yeah, and just spending time and getting to know a lot of the other people there as well was just incredible. The food was amazing, and yeah, just heaps of fun with Beck and Marielle as well. Really, that was just, yeah, that was amazing. Just being able to bond with you guys as well. So yeah, it was really, really amazing. So I just encourage anyone who is sitting on the fence to just pull your finger out a little bit, stay consistent, and track your people, is what I would suggest this year as well, because I did not do that last year. And at the last minute, we were like, oh my God, like we were so close, but we didn't realize how close we were. So we were like, oh my gosh. So we really had to pull our fingers out in the last couple of months to get over the line. But if you stay consistent the whole time, you will get there 100%. But yeah, definitely track your people.
Yes, definitely. And I feel like too that, the first year I misunderstood the numbers as well. And by the time I understood the numbers, I was like so far behind the eight ball that I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And then you wouldn't believe the trip that this trip I was onto the numbers and all of the things, but I missed one aspect of it, which also made me behind the eight ball. And so I felt like every trip that I've qualified for, I've really been super far behind. So it just goes to show you that it doesn't matter where you sit or when you even start. Some people are super organized and many people have qualified for the trip already. As most people know, I don't tend to work that way. I like pressure, apparently, and I work really well under pressure as well. So for me, I think that when you have the eye on the prize, you can pull an absolute rabbit out of the hat, I can assure you. So, and what did you think, Em, about being able to spend a bit of time with the corporate team and get to know them a little bit better?
Yeah, that was really, really amazing as well. And their generosity, like, just blew my mind. Like, oh, yeah, Lauren's very special, but Kai and Shelby as well, like they're just amazing. And getting to know Jake as well, like he's really cool. I really love him.
Isn't he
But
awesome?
yes, and doing the Solex call was really fun, not as well.
I love it. And it's a pretty cool experience, though, that, Jake comes along and he's the videographer and does all of our marketing sort of stuff. And, to have him leading the way of like asking the questions and what did you enjoy about it? And, many people probably see the weekly calls, but I think it's really good to just experience something a little bit different and push you out of your comfort zone a bit too. Like I know Marielle, I don't think she's on the call tonight, but I know for her that's definitely something that really pushes it for her. And she did it, and she was amazing. And she made everybody cry because I remember her saying that she had on her vision board this picture of a glass bottom kayak, right? And you guys did that. Where did you do that? I can't even remember.
In Cabo, it was a boat
Oh,
though. So yeah, she had a
oh,
photo
boat.
of a glass bottom boat, and yeah, there was glass bottom boats there. We didn't even book any tours. We just rocked up, and it was meant to be. We jumped on, and it was just beautiful. And that's what made the call as well, because yeah, she was saying the whole time like, "Oh my God, that was so horrible." And then as soon as it came on, she's like, "Oh my God, I can't watch myself." I'm like, "Go watch it. It was amazing. Like you made me
Yeah.
cry." And yeah, so yeah, it definitely pushes you out of your comfort zone. But honestly, that there's no other way to grow, is there? So I do not like being on camera at all. I'm like behind the camera, and loud on with in my little keyboard, but I hate being on the actual camera. So it was definitely a major out of my comfort zone as well. And even like traveling, like I don't normally travel as well at all.
Mm.
And I was like, it was so good as well. And I normally get sick when I go traveling as well, which I didn't get sick as well. So like everything's just working well. So
Yeah,
it
I
was
love
lots
that.
of fun.
It was so much fun. We just had the best time. So we wanted to just show you some photos and, give you a little bit of incentive to aim for the next one. Check this out. How cool is that? And yeah, the incentive trips are just so much fun. I've not been to a lot of those places, as I said before, but I have been to Nassau. I actually went to Nassau with a different company on an incentive trip. It wasn't a cruise, it was just to go and stay in one of the resorts there. And I'm pretty sure you'll have like the whole day or more on Nassau where you can actually go to that resort where I stayed. And there's a massive big water park. It is phenomenal. And as you can see, the water is just so crystal clear. It's absolutely beautiful. So get ready for the trip of a lifetime as you embark on a luxurious cruise through the stunning Caribbean. Experience exotic destinations and enjoy the exceptional service and entertainment that only a premium cruise ship can offer. I don't actually even know which cruise ship we are going on, but it doesn't even matter. I think that one of the best things was that you could kind of eat wherever you wanted to, but you got to have dinner every night with the corporate team, which was really beautiful to get up close and personal with them. Ask some questions. We were giving feedback. We were making suggestions about different things. They were filling us in on what's happening in corporate, giving us a few little secrets of what's coming, all sorts of really cool stuff. The entertainment
Taste
on board the
testers as
ship.
well.
What's that?
Taste testers as well.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'd forgotten about that. We did
I
get
thought
taste
so.
testers too. Yes, I wonder when they are coming. Very, very good point. Yeah, so we got some taste testers of some new products. There's some really cool things. So whether you've been in the company for a while or whether you're brand new, and in fact, if you are reasonably new, to be honest with you, you have really a step forward to those of us who have been building for a while. And I'll explain that a little bit more in a moment. So here's the information of that, because if there's one thing I know, confused people do nothing, right? If you don't know how to qualify for this trip, if you don't know the numbers, you don't know how to even get there, the chances of you getting there are very unlikely, or you could be just really, really good at what you do and get there and not even know it. So let's go through the qualifications. So the qualification period always starts on the 1st of September, goes through to the 31st of August. So you have almost a year. So the fact that we're halfway through, almost the end of April, does this mean you kind of, not really got an opportunity? No, not at all. This is now the time to really get started because you 100% can qualify. As I say, like I'm on an absolute back foot for this trip right now. So I have a lot of work to do and almost double than most other people. So if I can do it, I can assure you you can too. The winners are always announced at Day of Discovery, September 2025 over in Utah. And the trip dates, they say spring 2026, but I'm pretty sure it's March, which is their spring in the United States next year. So that's pretty cool. So discover how to determine your baseline, the qualifications for the trips for one or two people, and how to benefit from ranking up as well. The thing that I love about the how you can qualify is that there's more than one way to do it. So let's sort of get into that and let's look at what that looks like for you. So what they do at the end of end of August, sorry, 2024, you would have had a certain amount of people or active, whether they were customers or QLAs. Now, you may have had nobody, or you may be brand new, and that's perfectly fine as well. If that's the case, then your baseline number would be 0. But you can actually see your baseline number in your back office on the banner. It will tell you your baseline. So I'm going to use 2 examples tonight. I'm going to use an example of someone who is brand new. Their baseline is 0 because they didn't have anybody. They weren't here until now. Or you could have been here a while and you just haven't really been building or doing much, and now you're kind of ready to get started. Or it might be someone who may have had a few people jump on board, and by the end of August 2024, you had, let's say, 5 people. So we're going to use 2 examples: someone that had no one and someone that had 5 people active. So what you need to do is achieve 15 new active preferred customers or QLAs, each with 100 points or more during the qualification period from September to the 1st of September to the end of August. And please note that August is not required as one of the qualifying months. The reason that they say that is because that has been the case in a previous qualification. So you must maintain this net increase of 15 new PCs and QLAs for 3 months during the qualification period. So let's use the example of, let's say, Sally's brand new and she has no one yet, or didn't have anybody at the beginning of the qualification period. And then we've got Tim, and Tim has been active for a little while and he had 5 people. So what Sally's numbers need to look like is she needs to have 15, could be customers. So you could have someone on the gut protocol. You could have like the core range, that's 100 points or more. Or you could have people on the technology, either. It doesn't matter how you get there. It could be that you have, there's a pack that I'm starting to recommend for a certain type of detoxing, let's say, which is Pulse. So niacin, so really good for the heart. D3K2, really good for immune system. Methylene blue speaks for itself. There is something else in there that I've forgotten. Pulse. Anyway, remind me of what it is if anyone can think of it. So there's that pack, or there's another pack with all of those and also has sleep. So I'm saying to people, so do you need the one with or without sleep? And some people will say, oh, no, I sleep fine, so I don't need that. Or, no, I'm not sleeping at all. Can you make sure it's the pack with the sleep in it? So there's lots of different ways to get the customer or the QLA over 100 points. And you just need to make sure that they're ordering at least 3 times. So I know Emma and her team have got a really great promotion going on with the frequency side of things, where they're actually incentivizing people to stay on the technology for 3 months to get their full experience. And we're going to be doing the same. There's a few of us doing the same with the gut protocol, which is going to be really amazing as well. So it doesn't really matter how you do it, but the key is to increase your baseline number by 15. So at the end of August, let's say Sally has 15 at the end of a month. It doesn't matter what month it is. Let's say the month is, let's say she had 15 in April. In June, she only had 14 because one dropped off, but she brought another person on in July and it bumped up to 15 again. And she signed on 2 more people in August and now had 17. She's met the requirement that she's increased her baseline by a minimum of 15 people. It didn't have to be consecutive, but it did have to be a minimum of 15. So she's done that for April, so we tick that. May, she didn't, doesn't matter. Or whatever months. July and August she did, so we tick those. She's done her 3 months. She now qualifies for a trip for 1 person. Tim already had 5 people, so his number of active QLAs and PCs combined, so let's say he's got 10 customers and 5 QLAs, there's 15, but he actually needs 20 because his baseline number was already at 5. So hopefully that makes sense. His baseline was 5, so he still has to increase by 15, which will give him a minimum requirement of 20. So hopefully that makes sense. The next qualification is if you would like to win a trip for 2. If you would like to win a trip for 2, very similar to the trip for 1, you just need to increase your baseline by 25. So if we use Sally as an example, Sally's numbers need to look like 25, whether they're PCs or QLAs. And for Tim, his numbers will need to be 30 because he already had 5 people at the beginning. So whether you've got clients coming in to see you and you're putting them on a protocol, or they want the frequency technology, or you've got people who are business builders, and that's also really important too. They could be fellow like-minded people who, just love the idea of frequency. They could be people who are just passionate about promoting product or promoting gut healing or promoting hormone balance or promoting whatever. It can be whatever niche they like. But if they get that out to market, there is other ways to qualify for this trip, and we're going to go through that as well. So let's talk about what your baseline is, just so that you have an understanding. Your baseline is the total number of active preferred customers and QLAs that you had that were personally enrolled within your organization at the end of the 31st of August, 2024. You can find, again, on your personalized banner in your back office to see exactly what your baseline number is. And I've given you those examples, so we don't need to kind of read through that again. So let's talk about a different way of qualifying, because it doesn't have to be one or the other. It can actually be a combination of both. So let's say that let's say Sally was on 0 because Sally's brand new, but Sally's absolutely gung-ho and she is going to qualify for this trip no matter what. So let's say Sally qualifies as a gold by the end of, and she must qualify. So it's not about reaching the rank, it's about actually qualifying the rank. So to qualify the rank, just to clarify, you must not only hit the rank, you must hit it the first month, hit it the second month, and hit it the third month. So 3 months you must hit the rank for to qualify the rank. So if she hits that gold and qualifies as a gold distributor, then she has 4 points that go towards her trip. So now she had 0. So her baseline was 0. Let's just, for simple terms, look at the fact that she needed 15 points to qualify her for the trip. Well, she's hit and qualified gold. So 15 minus 4 points is 11. She now only needs 11 personally enrolled QLAs or PCs to actually reach the trip. Now, the thing about that is too, if you are building a business and you're bringing people on and they hit ranks and qualify their ranks, that actually is going to benefit you as well. So I'll utilize Marielle because she's not here and she can't speak back. No, I'm just joking. I'm going to utilize Marielle because she is almost at platinum. She is so close. So I'm going to utilize her as an example. So let's say Marielle's baseline is 30. So she's going to have 45 active at the end, because 30 plus 15 is 45. But she hits and breaks the rank of platinum, which is -5 direct for her. Then she can take 5 off that. So she only needs to increase her baseline by 10 instead of 15. Now, because I'm her direct sponsor, I also benefit from that as well. And I actually get 3 points towards my own trip as well. So even if it's not just about bringing people on, but helping your people to reach their rank, particularly if they're going for this trip as well, I can guarantee you that if you've got people running for this trip, they have to increase their numbers by a minimum of 15, which means if they're not even building underneath them or somebody doesn't rank or whatever the case may be, they should alone at least hit silver, which is which to qualify that is 6 people for those who don't know the comp plan properly, which means they get 3 points. And then if they're my personally enrolled, I get a point there. So if I had 15 personally enrolled silvers between now and the end of August, qualified silvers between now and the end of August, I would actually qualify a trip for 1 without even increasing, as long as my baseline is met, and I don't go under my baseline. So that's if people drop off or whatever, I must maintain my baseline. That would also qualify me for a trip. If you hit Sapphire and maintain and break the rank of Sapphire, you automatically get a trip for 1. How cool is that, by the way? Just for hitting the rank, you actually get given the trip, which is awesome. So if it were me, I would at least be going for the rank of gold or platinum, which doesn't sound easy, but it is. If you've got people genuinely building in your business, it's actually not a hard task. Just to be able to push their points up. And I'll use Katie as an example. Katie so let's say Katie started at 0 because she was new and she's already hit bronze. So there's 2 points for her already. So she already has those 3 active people because she's already bronze, right? So if she needed 15 and she's signed on 3 people, well, she's now at 12. But she's also going to break the rank of bronze, which gives her another 2 points. She actually only needs to activate another 10 people between now and the end of June to qualify her a trip for 1. Now, why does she have to do that before the end of June? Because if those people have not been, if you don't have that number 15 on the little squares, the blue squares in your back office, they have to show up 3 times, 3 months not in a row, but 3 months in total, for you to qualify for the trip. So if you have any questions as we go, feel free to pop them into the chat. So this just is an example. So according to the rank increase benefits table, if you achieve the gold rank during the qualification period, you'll receive a reduction of 4 from the net increase requirement for a trip for 1. This means your initial net increase of 15 will be lowered to 11. After reaching the gold rank, you'll need to maintain a net increase of 11 new PCs or QLAs for at least 3 months during the qualification period. You do not need to keep the same 11 PCs or QLAs each month. So that's really important as well. Like you could do a promo on 660 bands, and if you sold 15 of them every month for 3 months, doesn't have to be to the same people, but you've increased your net by the 15, you actually qualify. And if you think about it here, where it says, as this example shows, that this person has hit and broken the rank of gold, for them to hit gold, that means that they have to have somebody hit silver underneath them. So if we go back here and we look at silver for the sponsor, that's actually going to give them another point, right? So now they actually only need 10. Example 2, the rank increase benefits table shows that if you achieve the rank of gold during the qualification period, you will receive a reduction of 4, which we've just talked about, for the trip for 2, if you're going for the trip for 2. This means the original net increase of 25 will be lowered to 21. So, this is also super achievable. You think about how many people, whether it's a client base that you have or a network that you have, the more you advertise. Do you know what really hit me a while ago was someone actually messaged me and said, "Do you not do Solex anymore?" That was almost like an absolute stab to my heart. But do you know what it told me? It told me that I was not actively posting enough about what I do. I've posted literally maybe 2 or 3 posts over the last week or so, and the amount of inquiry that I've got just from that is massive. But I'm also on groups that I keep an eye out because in my specific niche market, I'm keeping an eye out for people who are looking for what we have. So there's your direct rank ups to help everybody qualify. Um, and it's not just really for something that, you know, for you to qualify, but you can actually help others as well, which how amazing for more and more of us to go every year. I mean, I can't even remember how many people there would have been on this trip. There was probably only maybe 40, I reckon, maybe, do you know, Em?
Yeah, there's about 40, they said.
Yeah, about 40 people. So we would love more Aussies there, obviously. So let's get you guys qualifying. And yeah, because it really is, honestly, it is out of all of the incentive trips I've ever gone for or attempted, this, I'm not going to say it's easy because it is still work, but it's 100% the most achievable. Okay. So that's just the examples that we've given you before. But really, what it comes down to is about you making a decision. If this is not for you, well, if it wasn't for you, you wouldn't be on the call. But if this is for you, then you must make the decision. And you have to be really, really diligent about just a yes or no. If you're like, oh, look, I'd give it a go, but I'm not really hopeful, that's up to you. But for me, I am non-negotiable with myself. I do not see any other way for me than me being on that trip because I just feel like I have to be there. So it's time for you really to set the goal of what you want to achieve. So the minimum above your baseline is 15. And some of you, like Katie, are really well on your way. So have a look at what that looks like. And if you're confused or you're not sure, please speak to your sponsor or reach out to myself. I'm always happy to help whoever wants to really run for it. But set your goal. Like, so for example, for Katie, she's like, okay, well, I'm at bronze, haven't quite broken it yet, but let's break bronze first. Then let's know that you've only got 11 points to go. Let's set that next goal of silver. Let's set that next goal of whatever those numbers look like and mark them off as you go. I'm a really visual person, so I usually have pieces of cardboard going around. I've actually written it on my whiteboard this time. So set your whiteboard or a piece of cardboard or whatever up. Even post-it notes, stick those post-it notes up. If you need 15 or 25 or whatever that looks like, stick up 15 or 25 post-it notes and keep it visual. And it's actually really satisfying to be able to mark those names up there when you achieve that. And the question is, what is it that you're willing to do to qualify yourself for an all expenses paid trip? And you've got to remember, they're not flying us just across a state of the United States over to Florida. They're flying us all the way from Australia. That costs thousands and thousands of dollars. And they do it because they want you to earn this amazing trip. So the question is, what are you willing to do it? But the question is also, what are you willing to give up in that time? I know for myself, and I really had to get my skates on to qualify for this last one last year. I think it was July was my month that I actually turned around to my family and I said, listen, I'll be as present as I can be in the time that I can, but you need to also allow me to do the work that I need to do to get there to qualify for this trip. And I think if you have that communication, you know, your family, whatever, friends, you know, you can't always, it might be that you're going to give up on going out on a night out and spend the time doing the work that you need to do to qualify for this trip. Because let me tell you, when you're on the trip, you will 110% thank yourself for doing that. So let's talk about mindset for a minute, because at the end of the day, mindset matters. When we look at this trip and that fear comes up of like, oh my gosh, like there's, whether it's a pit in your stomach or whatever that looks like, where does the fear sit for you? And for some people, it's like in their throat. For some people, it's in their chest. For some people, it's in their, their upper belly. For some people, it's like in their lower belly. Have a feel into where your fear actually sits and be really honest with yourself, because if you don't have fear around this, you're lying. I can tell you, I bet you have fear somewhere. For me, I can honestly say it sits in my solar plexus. And so this is something that, this is why I love the in-person events. We learnt this off one of our QLAs last Sunday it was. And she was talking about how with the chakras, you actually have a specific phrase in regards to affirmations related to the chakra. So Katie was so amazing to do this up for us. So thank you for doing that. And then you could go into ChatGPT or just create them yourself. It's up to you. But for me, I'm going to go into, for the solar plexus chakra, and start looking at the affirmations that start with I do. Okay. Because I do a lot of I am statements, but I don't do a lot of I do statements. So that's where willpower, action, personal power, all of that sits. So I'm like, okay, what do I need to start doing from a affirmation perspective to get my mindset right to get into the action? Because if your mindset doesn't change, your result won't either. You will talk yourself out of it, I can assure you. And look at the end result. What happens if you succeed? What happens if you qualify for this trip? What does that look like for you? What does that feel like? Really drop into that feeling. Write it out. Write it out as if it's happened. What did it feel like when you qualified for that trip? I know for me, last time it was relief, but I was also really proud of myself because I did the work. I did the work that I required. And I felt like also, I remember it wasn't this trip, it was the trip before. And I was kind of trying to trek along for the trip, but I was kind of dragging my feet. I'm not going to lie. And one of our QLAs turned around to me and said, if you don't qualify for this trip, what hope do we have? And I was like, oh, shivers. Because they were looking up to me to qualify, right? And that gave me massive motivation to get my skates on. So what's it going to look like to you? How many subconscious beliefs are you going to smash out of your brain when you qualify for that trip? There'll be none of these, I can't, I'm not good enough to do that, I'm not, all the things that sometimes subconsciously could be sitting underneath, all of a sudden get annihilated. But let's look at the flip side of that just for a minute. What happens if you don't succeed? What happens if your requirement's 15 and you got to 11 and you miss out on the trip? Would you be disappointed? Sure. But can I tell you something? You would have just increased your business by 11. And with a minimum of 100 PV, sits at probably about a $50 US check per person. You just increased your business over, or your income by over 550 US dollars a month. That would be worst case scenario. But it would also prove to you how amazing you've done to be able to have increased your business that far. I wrote a little note down the bottom, and it was more for my benefit than yours, just to remind me. So I wanted to talk about this. I do a lot of listening to Abraham Hicks. In the year of 2023, I started listening to the work of Abraham every single day without fail from the 1st of January. If for whatever reason I didn't get to listen to one on that day, if I don't know, if I had something happen, I would listen to two the next day. And I did this the whole year. And can I tell you, up until I had some family stuff happen in the November, that was a whole nother story. Let's not go there. But up until that point, that was one of the best years that I'd ever had, because I love, love, love the work of Abraham. And I was making sure that I was living by it as well. And the work is really about allowing and not resisting, not pushing against. But I always had the question in my mind of, how do you build a business by allowing? And I finally got the answer the other day, because I finally listened to one of the tracks that I'll try to find it and I'll share it with you all. I finally found the answer. And the answer was this: it's not in the just sitting there and allowing. And let's use this incentive trip as an example. We try to get in the right mindset and we say, okay, universe, let the people come to me, right? Doesn't quite work like that. But what it does do is that it's about, if the more you focus on the feeling of being in your own power and excitement of building your business, excitement of sharing with others, it's the feeling that matters. Because if you're just push, 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 and you're feeling pressured and stressed and all of the things, that's not fun. And that's not a good feeling. And what you create there is more resistance. All of a sudden, you maybe look more desperate, or your energy is more desperate. However, if you're genuinely excited about what you're doing and what you're creating, no matter what the result, and then you step into action and allow at the same time, what you're doing is you're actually in action, in flow. You're doing it with ease. And what my guidance shows me when I speak about that is a stream, a beautiful stream. And it's about you walking along with the stream and allowing that stream to kind of take you, but you're still walking, right? So you're still making the effort and you're still doing, but the water is still running and it's running the right way. So it's helping you. And that's how energy will also help you, versus you trying to walk upstream the other way and pushing against the water. That's probably the easiest analogy that I can give to you. So in the art of allowing, notice the feeling when you are in action, because if it's hard, if it's a drain, if it's not enjoyable, if you can't be bothered, I would go back to the beginning and watch that video again, because let me tell you, you see that cruise ship in the Caribbean, you can be bothered all real quick. But it's in the art of allowing and the feeling of where that comes from that's really, really important. So I hope that that makes sense. But this is really cool. Do you guys love this mind sync affirmation chart? Because then you can put, you go to ChatGPT, you type in, create 2 minutes worth of affirmations about abundance, that many of them, doesn't have to be all of them, start with I do. So you don't have to think of them. You can actually get ChatGPT to do that for you, and just pick out the ones that you like. And then you can tell it, can you make more? Can you make them more around this topic, or whatever the case may be? All right. So how is the next question? How are you going to do this? So we have a business blitz coming up in the month of May. I will be running that. For those who really are serious about building their business, there will be accountability. We'll be doing a lot of opportunity calls, whether it be for the software and or the gut health protocol. And really just sharing a lot of mindset stuff. There'll be lots of action that we will be taking in the month of May, because you need to also remember that the work that you do initially, starting now, and really just connecting with people, you know, reaching out, making new friends, or even, you know, clients, talking to clients about this is the protocol that I recommend for you, and getting people excited about whatever it is that you choose to offer. It may not always come to fruition straight away. So the more work that you do, the more scans you run, the more people you reach out to, it sometimes takes a little bit to kind of tick over. So it's what we call filling your funnel. The more you fill your funnel, the more will come from it. For me, I'm really starting to get back into my business after having quite a considerable amount of time off with personal stuff with my family. And it does take time. I feel like at the moment I'm doing a lot of work for not a huge amount of return. But is that true? The answer is no, because at some point, the more I keep working, the more I keep filling my funnel, the more I keep really now starting to post my products and services and all of the things that I want to offer, then it really will start to tick away. And those numbers will start to increase considerably. And I know that it'll happen really quickly. So we will have calls on in May. We are, my focus for this particular blitz, my personal focus is going to be, as many of you know, we have a group called the Thrive Tribe. There are other groups as well. So if you're in a, you know, within a different team or whatever, you can join whatever it is that your team are doing. But for me, with the Thrive Tribe, I'm actually going to be promoting a gut health protocol, and we're actually going to be doing that by a survey. So the people will fill out a survey. It will populate the answer for them. We will offer them a 15-minute discovery call to go through results. We'll actually do a scan for them and then go through the results and make the recommendations based on whatever it is that they're needing. Now, it could be the core range. It could be I actually don't even know the name of the other pack, to be quite honest with you, but it's got D3K. Oh, I know what it is that it has. It's Pulse. I've got one literally sitting next to me. It's Pulse, it's the Think Drops, it's the Blue, and it's the D3K2. So it's those 4 products. And then there's also one with the sleep. So whether people are wanting gut health, detoxing, or they might understand and know frequency. So it could be the subscription of the AO scan, whatever that looks like, as long as it's 100 points or more. So that's super easy. So we're going to blitz gut health and we're going to blitz frequencies because I know not everybody wants to build with one or the other or both, and that's 100% fine as well. We just want to help you get to the goal that you want to achieve. So the question is, who's in? So thank you for joining us tonight. Let me just check and see if we've got any questions. Oh yes, fulvic minerals for sure. We can definitely, oh, no, yes. Yeah. Em's giving away all our secrets. All right, we're not going to tell, we're only going to tell the live call what the product was we tried on the cruise ship. You'll have to come to the next one to see what the next product is that they're going to let us try. But yeah, fulvic is another really good one that you could add into that. Actually, funnily enough, my mum had a mark on her that I sent off to Dr. Sheila. I say, Dr. Sheila, I've got a Dr. Sheila question. What's this mark? She goes, I don't know, but try fulvic minerals on it. I'm like, great. And I remember when Lauren was with Addison and I, when he was over here in Australia, Addie had a little bit of sunburn on her face. And he's like, put Solex Gold on it. And the next day, her sunburn was completely gone. It's actually really phenomenal. So as much as it's great to consume, it's actually very good topically as well. So think outside of the box as to, you know, what is it that people need and why? You know, our 660 band, you could go and do a whole blitz on 660 bands for a week. You know, sell 5 or, you know, if you sold 5 or 10 of those, plus whatever you're doing with the frequencies or the gut protocol is really going to help you. But the key to this, honestly, is that if you get into solid action now and you are consistent, like Emma said, stay consistent over this time, worst case scenario, you fall short. that still means you've grown your business. Bronnie says, yes, I would love to blitz my business in May and beyond. Count me in. Sensational. Wonderful. Yes. I really think that now is a great opportunity for everyone to really step into their power of what they're wanting to create for themselves and their families. I know that I've had many questions about, when we're going to get our warehouse here and all of the things. It's like the putting the cart before the horse. We must really start to build our country out, because we're really still not even in momentum yet here in Australia. So the more energy that we're putting into our businesses and the more we're getting this out to market, the quicker we're going to build. That's the sooner we're going to get our warehouse. But it will take time. The slower we go, the more time it's going to take. The faster we go, the quicker we get it here, which is even better. So we want to hit that momentum, because once we hit that momentum, the sky's the limit, honestly. And we want all of you, each and every one of you, to be here for that, to help us do that, so that you get to reap the rewards of that as well. So we would love for you to join us at the Caribbean cruise. As I say, I haven't even qualified for it yet, but I am going to. So that being said, reach out if you've got any questions, if you're not 100% sure of what your numbers are, or how that works for whatever reason. Please just reach out. We're always happy to assist in any way that we possibly can. So I'm going to stop recording now.